Scholars, it's marathon takeover time! Or should I say it's marathon, it's time to take over the McDonald's. Am I right? Am I right? It's time to Bungie's time to take over McDonald's. That's right. Salute, it's time to go back home. It's time to put the fries in the bag. That's right. Oh, man, there's nothing more satisfying than to watch people lose their shit and then literally have reality bitch slap them in the face. Man, especially after some of the toxic positivity, back ass word, like how people have been talking about like Destiny. Like there was a whole thing about Destiny. People were like, you know, talking about how it wasn't a big deal, trying to water down what Bungie did. It's so satisfying. Now, if you've been living under a bridge, Reese Elliott, this guy right here, who's a head market analysis, by the way, this is a real dude who's come out and given us some very fair, like actual numbers. By the way, 70% of people playing Marathon are on PC. These are real numbers, not trust me bro numbers. Never listen to people like this when they make up complete bullshit because they have an agenda. Never, ever listen to the bullshit of any Bungie bro specifically, but always be careful about anyone who is a bot for a billion-dollar company. But anyways, Marathon has sold $1.2 million. Or sorry, copies of the game. They made $55 million, which honestly is a little bit more than what I expected. Average DAUs last week, 380K. Now, this guy's no schnuff. Even Paul Tassi has come out and said it. So let's review what he has to say, and then let's see what other people are having to say, because other people, including content creators, are having a mental crisis. By the way, just a shout out. People are it is so funny because this entire time people have been upset and saying you can't look at the Steam charts, they don't mean anything. 70% on Steam. There's a trend on Steam. Guess what? That implies it's going to be similar across the board. And it is, oh, you love people. And people are sleeping on Marathon. I love that this is the new cope. This is the new, you guys just don't give it a chance, bitch. People who want to play will play. And it's actually funny. In like 2-3 weeks, this game has only sold $1.2 million. Or sorry, copies. Crimson Desert in like five days has sold 3 million. And it also had a very polarizing launch. In fact, it's funny. All the critics love Marathon, but didn't like Crimson Desert and nitpicked it. But yet everyone is loving Crimson Desert. And well, not very many people are liking Marathon. Who would have thunk? And so it's always funny. And it's so funny. It is always the same bros. It is always the same Bungie bros that anytime you put a chart or look at data, they cannot resist. They get so angry. For the people that are so confident and so, I love this game, they sure do need validation. Like constant validation. This is funny. It's just stupid, but it's still fucking funny. That's how easy it is to trigger these people. It's like just the smallest thing will set them off. Stop giving them, let me make fun of them. Yeah, you're really making fun of them. You're really doing a lot making fun of them. Even Fallout, dude. Bungie bros just they can't stop being weird and enjoy what you enjoy. It's so funny. Why can't you just enjoy it? Like, he's getting triggered and upset, but this little bitch can't even just move on. Like, you are the one online looking at it. Shut the fuck up. If it's so good, shut the fuck up and play it. You're telling people to stop being weird. Stop being weird. You're the one upset. You're the one getting triggered, you dumb bitch. Oh, it's not living in my toxic positivity bubble. I'm not being validated. No one likes what I want. Well, listen, Bungie will pat you on the ass and say you're doing a good job. I know your job requires that, you know, Bungie does good, but damn, hop off the dick. So let's look at what Paul Tassi has to say. New figures are circulating around the internet about Bungie's marathon. This is by Lean Analytics, a firm specializing in game markets that has estimates of marathon sale, DAUs, and platforms. You shouldn't dismiss this. This is not some just guess. This isn't trust me bro data. This is someone's actual professional job to do. So the moment you see any of these Bungie bots try to dismiss this, tell them to go fuck themselves. You're coping. So, but he even has his inside information. My own sources at Bungie have confirmed to me that the numbers are very close to the real figures, meaning they should be rejected out of hand. He obviously can't tell you the specifics. And then you have the 1.2 Steam being very interesting. Doesn't even break 20% for a first party game despite being multi-platform. Yeah, that's got to be an insult. Is that Sony just said, like, the word is that Sony's rolling back PC, the focus on PC, and even on PlayStation. Imagine if Marathon was only PlayStation 5 or console and not PC. Ooh, it would have been Concord. Doesn't even break 20% for a first party game. Yeah, despite being multi-platform. After a peak of 470k DAUs in this first weekend, it's holding 345k DAUs, while this past weekend was 380. Comparing launch weekend to the past 2 weeks later, it's 20% drop. Again, looking at the data, you can see trends. Even if you don't see all the data, you can still see trends. Though more if we're doing day to day. The report also says average playtime is up to 28 hours on Steam, much higher than consoles. 22% of Steam players are past 50 hours, 7% are past 100, because I think the small population that's playing actually really does like Marathon. So for this small group, this niche, this niche, this is a success to them. And really, who gives a fuck? If you're the average Joe playing Marathon, you enjoy Marathon, you don't give a fuck. You're having a great time. It's only the people that we're making fun of is people like this who get upset about data. People who get triggered. They can't sit there and just shut the fuck up and enjoy a game. They have to make sure everyone thinks the same way they do. They have to have the validation because they're not confident in their own decision to like a game. Because anyone that's confident doesn't give a shit about what other people think about it. And guess what? It's not like you can't block people, which is funny because this pussy blocked me. So it's like, bitch, take your own advice, shut the fuck up. But it's always the same people always bitching about Steam charts. They love it. They love the abuse. And it's funny because they're Bungie bros. Bungie bros are Stockholm Syndrome masochists. That is in their nature. They cannot, I don't know where they're going to go from here if Bungie does shut down. Like, who's going to beat these people up? EA? I mean, I'm sure they can go play sports games. Those people get beat up all the time. The sales platform split the DAUs are very close to reality over at Bungie. I'm told the problem is this is lower than it should. Uh-oh. That's bad because Sony has shut down another studio. Uh-oh. From launch figures to now, given the context of the game, meaning its development time, its cost, its expectations from Sony, for Bungie's first new IP in a decade, this is also reality. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's why we have Rip and Shred in the background. There are no plans to scale back or change content plans for now. Well, yeah. You're going to try to go forward. But also, just to remind ourselves, they may be still working on future seasons, but the High Guard developers said the same thing. They said they had a whole year worth of stuff planned out. They didn't last a month. The ultimate fate of the game will play out in time. Again, this was never going to be a High Guard Concord situation. No, but it might be worse than High Guard and Concord because Bungie is not some random, developer. This is the Bungie, the name of Halo and Destiny. So it's actually, in my opinion, Marathon might be its new shell of a failure. Concord is a failure just because there's a no-name Andy that was awful. Marathon could be its own little shtick. Like, it might be its own category of, like, the biggest failure possible because it's from Bungie, a legendary studio making such a floppy turd to the wider gaming audience. By the way, I don't think Marathon's bad. I thought it was an average niche game. I thought it was fine. My only problem is when I played it, I felt like I was playing an early access game. As someone who's played Tarkov when it was in beta early access, I have that feeling, that same vibe. But I generally don't think Marathon is a floppy turd. Now, if you do think that's the way, you're right. You can think, I'm not gonna stop you. You think it's a floppy turd? It's a floppy turd. You're good. I'm the last person to try to defend this game, but I just want to put my own. People are like, you just want to hate the game. I don't hate the game. I just make fun of the people that are going cult style on it. People who are unhinged. I just like making fun of them. Bungie has not shared any sell numbers. They won't. Like, every other game will give us sales a number of like how much people actually bought the game. Bungie's not even telling people how many people actually play the game. Like, that's the typical approach, which they did. They showcased sales from Witch Queen, by the way. They showcased that. They've done it before when they're really proud. They're like really, really proud. They'll sneak one in there. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how people are reacting, and it's something, man. You got, and I'm not gonna read all his stuff. I'm sure it's a good read. Maybe that'll be a different video. If my niche attraction shooter made around 55 million on launch, not factoring all extra revenue, the player base is stabilizing. Clearly, is it? Yeah, I don't know what stabilizing means when you do go bump up, but it's still continue. It's like it's still going down. It's still going down. Like, it's going up but down. That's what Destiny did. If you look at Destiny, it was the same fucking way. See, Destiny would go up and then it eventually. But the problem is when you see this within a couple weeks. That's the red flag, is when you see this shit. This is multiple years. This is a couple weeks. That's a red flag. The longer the game exists, I'm sure more people will buy it and play it because good game. Cope. Disagree. Of course you're going to disagree. Marathon took me several hours. Marathon, according to Lena, has crossed over 1 billion copies sold, about 19, most on Steam. But either way, it's not looking good. Bruv, as the kids say. Man, the difference between Steam and console is actually crazy. Bungie was always console first. What is happening? Is it too hard for console players? I think that's a good. Here's my theory. First off, you got to realize that console players have to pay for subscriptions. You don't just get it. You have to pay for subscriptions. Unlike PC, where it's just free. You buy the game for $40, you get to play the game. Whereas on console, you have to buy the game for $40. Then you have to spend the $10, $15, whatever it is for the subscription. That's $50 right off the rip. If you're Xbox, most people have now been conditioned to play games on Game Pass. Most people have Game Pass. They don't buy games unless it's on Game Pass or it's free to play. PlayStation, free to play. Free to play has become a dominant outside of Arc Raiders. I think Arc Raiders, again, we can all agree, even comparing against Marathon, Arc Raiders is the outlier. But most games, you're not going to see that high. Like, except for free to play, which is why Fortnite is so popular, is because it's free. And that's just my theory. PC, again, more people, and it's also extraction shooter. Most extraction bros are on PC because Tarkov is not on PC. Or sorry, it's not on consoles, only PC. And a lot of these extraction games are on PC. So that's where most of these hardcore players navigate. This is where they live. And so why would you buy something for console if you already are on PC? So that's the thing, right? This is a great game with poor presentation. The good thing is that it has strong player retention. I don't know about that. It's an even they said that they're losing players. It's an interest, like they're dropping. Like that's the problem. It is dropping. So that's fundamentally not true. It's interesting analysis and summary. If you understand that the marathon system, you get hooked. But almost certain that that in May investors call, they'll say that marathon did not. Yes, in May, that is, you put it on your calendar. I will be live streaming the reaction into the news. Whatever happens, this is going to be the most interesting investors call that they do to see, because is Sony going to do something, or are they going to try to, you know, scapegoat and try to save face? Because ultimately they pushed the failure of Bungie to the $3.6 billion to buy them, and then Bungie cost them $2.4 million. And Sony tried to tell investors, like, don't worry, you know, we're going to make that up with Marathon. Uh-oh. Did they? Did they? $2.4 million. Well, alone, if they only made 1.2, I don't know, Chief. And then you got to think of how much it's cost them for advertisement. Like, I'm sure they spent millions of dollars on advertisement because they paid the Burnt Peanut multiple times. The only time he's played this game is when he's paid to play it. Multiple streamers, and then their weird trailers that they keep pumping out. Like, they have been cranking out a shit ton of advertisement for this game. So we're gonna find out if they were able to make anything back, or if they just in negative. And they will. We know that they will throw Bungie under the bus, because they already did it once. They blamed Bungie for being 2.4 million in the bucket. So that's going to be the interesting part. We know Sony does not give a shit. They will throw Bungie under the bus, and we're going to see how much under the bus they are, or if they get over it. These stats aren't too off. Street Fighter 6. Yes, because Street Fighter 6 is made by Bungie, the AAA legendary title that made Halo, supposedly. Even though if you look, we looked at most of those developers, and they they started at Reach, or if they did anything else, they were just contracted work. They were the newbies. They weren't that much of an important aspect. We've got budget estimates to go off for both games, with Marathon likely being much higher. And bro, are you gonna really try to argue against a dude? Are you really gonna try to argue against the analysis guy? Yeah, okay. Street Fighter did lead in sales a little bit more, but I don't think this is too hard for bad of a start. I don't know about that. Those are strong sales figures for a niche shooter that's aiming to attract a hardcore audience. Yeah, but that's the thing. Is it good sales? Because you're not Sony and you're not Bungie, and we know based on, did Queen Mallow block me? Oh, did they see my video or my tweet making fun of them? Oh, I think they did. Just for reference, this person was so retarded. Marathon has unironically boost confidence in other FPS games, but it's so good it ruined my taste buds kind of way. Other games generally feel less tense or exciting because they don't challenge me in the same way. The stakes are much lower. So you played in a hardcore extraction shooter versus an arena shooter or BR, and found the game that forces you to perma-lose your loot upon death versus a game that gives you perma-loadouts to be more of a challenge. The sky is also blue. Am I an asshole? Yes, but people are fucking retarded. I can see why they blocked me. Or did they? Was it a block, or they... Only some accounts. Never mind. They didn't block me. I should have just checked. Wow. Isn't that funny that you say something, but you're afraid to hear what other people have to say? Wow. It's almost like you don't believe in yourself. And these, like, if I'm going to make a statement like that, I'm going to put my chest out there and say, fuck it. I mean, I do it already. Man, it flopped miserably on PlayStation 5. Imagine if we're exclusive. Exactly. Like, that cannot look good for PlayStation. To imagine that this was something that they hyped on their official PlayStation store, that they hyped on their website, their Twitter, and it's like nothing. Like, if I'm an investor and I'm seeing that Steam, by the way, Steam takes a 30% cut. Steam takes 30% cut. So this is all 100% PlayStation revenue. This is 30 minus 30%. Damn. Damn. According to Marathon Sold, it's okay result. It's the challenge is to grow on top of that instead of turning into some niche thing for crackheads. It's already happening. The Marathon bros are already cannibalizing themselves. Like people are arguing over res kits and whether they need nerfed, and like they're eating each other alive, and it's so fucking funny to watch it happen. The PC saving Bungie and Sony's ass with Marathon. Yeah. But then they go around wanting exclusives. Go fuck yourselves. You should read this. Very insightful, not the doom gloom you portray it to be. Is it really? I mean, it is pretty doom and gloom when you're thinking about, like, if it's just a little indie game, or not indie game, well, even an indie game would be happy with it. We're talking about Bungie. Like, bro, I don't think people realize how bad it is. Don't forget, this game, but Sony wants this game to be in top 5 Circana. Yep, here it is. Bungie's projected sales for Marathon. According to Forbes journalist, the studio is aiming for nothing less than top 5 spot of the MPD known as Circana sales charts for the year if the game is to be considered a true success. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, so that top 5 Circana. PS Clowns claim, I don't want to look, it's just console war shit. I can't help myself but be mad at people that hate on Marathon and say Arc is better subjectively. So objectively, one is more financially successful than the other. But objectively better, I don't know, man. I really dislike Arc Raiders, even though, yeah, but here's the thing. Objectively is determined by facts and data, and if the majority like something, then objectively it is better. That's how things work. When a majority make up something and they have this consensus that something is better, it is objectively better. Like, that's what you think case studies are. When they get a group of people, they do a study, and when the result is the majority, that is what the result of the study is. Like, people don't understand how fucking data works and what objective fucking means. When one little Andy goes based on their personal experience, then it's subjective. When it is backed up by data, it becomes a more objective statement. A masterwork of design. Yeah. Marathon didn't need remaking. True. Anyways, things are so bad that even Kotaku is saying Bungie's like, they're not even hiding it anymore. Bungie's Marathon will be a test to see whether Sony still gives a shit. It's a franchise worth investing in at a time when PlayStation has been cutting its losses. Well, remember, Sony spent $400 million on Concord and cut their losses on that, and they just shut down 2 studios. Who fucking knows what they're gonna do with Bungie and or Marathon? And just think, and people are like, you just want Bungie to shut down. Yeah, I do. I want them laid off. I want them to put the fucking fries on the bag. Put the fries in the bag. But if they do that, you won't get Destiny. Not true. I mean, look at Destiny Rising. Anyone can make Destiny good. If not anyone. Specific companies, studios could do a good Destiny. And let's be honest, if Sony funded, imagine a Destiny funded with $400 million and it's given to a capable, competent studio. Even in the ballpark of what Helldiver's competency is, that game will be fucking cake. Now, if you give $400 million to Bungie, they're just gonna not do what they should do. I mean, you've got to think about it. Marathon, there was development issues because they couldn't figure out what the fuck to do, and they wasted money. They've had multiple failed projects that they couldn't fucking figure out what to do. They had Destiny 1, which the story and everything was a hot mess because they failed to fucking realize what to fucking do. And then Destiny 2, they obviously didn't know what the fuck they were doing because they continued to make shitty decisions throughout its lifetime. It's almost like, maybe Bungie is just a shitty company that shouldn't exist anymore. Who knew? Gamers are the worst community online. I think it deserves the crap it's being continued served. A new game that's unusual, incredible, well-crafted, and plays great. Gamers decide to shit on it because Grums and ABYSMAL says it's gay. Yes, everyone, the wider gaming audience listens to 2 dudes. I hate this mentality that everyone thinks that they're listening to some dude on Twitter or YouTube, and people can't look at something and use their own fucking eyes. That no one played this server slam. No one watched people play on Twitch and got a full eye of the gameplay. No one came to the conclusion, which is funny. That assumes that every damn person is online on social media, which is fundamentally a fallacy. It's not true. You have dudes who don't even have Twitter who looked at Marathon and said, this looks like shit. It is cope. It is a fallacy. It is just a desperate ploy to spin a narrative to make themselves feel better about themselves. You're the problem, not the fact that the game was not for the masses. And it would have been fine if it was an indie company making an indie niche game. But this is a AAA legendary studio that made Halo, and they rode the coattails of that title. This is the shit that they get. All right, we already seen this. Arc Raiders released during a game drought. Here's more cope. And the other two games that came out around the same time, COD and Battlefield, were underwhelmed. Even though Battlefield sold more, I think Battlefield 6 beat Arc Raiders for the most sold first-person shooter, actually first-person shooter, in general. Now, I know Arc Raiders is not first-person, but I'm pretty sure it sold more than Arc Raiders. So this statement's already factually wrong. Underwhelmed. Arc benefited from this. Marathon released against a detected Arc fan base. Dedicated. Plus Resident Evil 9 and Crimson Desert right behind it. It also more PvP focused. So what you're saying is Marathon was released and it had competition and it couldn't beat the competition. Sometimes people don't think about what they're saying before they say it. You are literally self-reporting. What you're saying is, in the gaming audience, in the great gaming world, people would rather spend their money buying Resident Evil 9 and Crimson Desert than Marathon. Then that has nothing to do with there being a drought. Because again, people still bought Call of Duty, not a lot, but Battlefield was one of the most, if not the most sold game that year. And not to mention, Expedition 33 was also out. You want to mention Crimson Desert and Resident Evil 9? Expedition 33 was also out, and it won Game of the fucking Year. What kind of fucking crack cocaine are you smoking? Copium. I love that this person was nice enough to give us a picture of what they actually look like, because there they are. We looked at all this. Oh, by the way, I love this. The Marathon takeover. They said Marathon is the Arc raid killer. Literally, no one said that. Yep, they did. They did. We told you. Dead Aldo. Yeah, no one said this. No one at all. Marathon is the Arc. That's bait. It has to be bait. Arker's feeling the heat from Marathon. I mean, we were watching. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I mean, when you say no one, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. You are literally selling yourself up for failure, dude. Yeah, people have the DMs. Marathon is the art. There it is. There's the same guy. Yeah, I mean, let's just not act like that's not true. Anyways, it's still funny. It's still funny that this is what's happening. Damn. I want to see what people are saying about from his perspective. Especially since, of course, Bungie already confirmed numbers are correct. Of course, they. Why would they not get ahead of it? Here's the deal. I believe that Paul Tassi has a connection with someone that does not like Marathon and or does not like the way that Bungie is running things. That we know that how some of the developers in the company have felt. that they were frustrated that leadership wasn't listening to them, that they wanted to give the players what they wanted. And even many of those developers said that they was stupid and not to make Marathon an extraction shooter. Like, we know these people are in the company. Now, some of them probably got fired, to be honest, but I guarantee this is a disgruntled employee that's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to tell people, I'm going to give people the inside information. I thought he hated graphs and numbers. True. I mean, he doesn't. He uses numbers all the time. People get pissed off at Paul Tassi for using numbers. It hasn't even reached ROI yet. After 300 million, it has only raised 50 million. Like, where are people getting these numbers? I know that it's an estimate, but I'm going to call this out just like I called out the Craig guy. Like, we don't even know. We don't have like a true estimate here. Like, we don't. So I don't trust any numbers. Now, is it feasible to say 200 million? Yeah, it would be feasible, especially with advertisement. But I would say theoretically, right? Because it's all theory. It's not even like, there's nothing to really base it. Why? Bungie confirmed the numbers are accurate. True. I know people don't want to hear it, but I generally think catering to a more casual player base for the time being would be the best to get them on their feet. They can still have hardcore things like Cryo, but most gamers are casual. Oh my God. Is someone gonna, yes, I hope they make it less frustrating. Oh, okay. People are, I was expecting this person to get cannibalized. I've seen some of this already online, and people are cannibalizing each other over that argument. Gonna leave this here so you can yell at this guy instead of Rooster. What did Rooster say? Oh, okay. Thanks, bud. Rather see that guy get yelled at than you. Wait, were people yelling at Rooster for this? Art style, it isn't much more deep than Arc. Varric is very friendly to players. Okay. When does their dedicated fan base actually play? Whew. Damn. Bad onboarding, high skill floor, niche. Okay. I wasn't really for sure where we're going with this, but it seems like people are actually starting to point out the biggest issues with Marathon, which is not what I expected. God, I hope they don't shut the game down, but man, everyone is a financial analyst for Bungie in the comments. Christ, I hate video. Everyone is a financial analyst. When they're regurgitating the same shit and you're talking about a AAA company, it's not hard to infer that this is not good. By the way, Paul Tassi literally says it's not looking good. Like, it's not meeting expectations. What fucking more do you need to know? Sigh, we could have had Destiny 3. We could have. The crazy thing is the ratio. Sony has to pay 30% cut to other platforms sales, and Steam doing PS3. 3-to-1 is certainly not great for them. No, it's just they're getting shit on by Steam. Well, Sony likely lets it play out for a bit tentatively, but I have to imagine they aren't thrilled with this. The Marathon Bros tried, and rightly so, but at last and they will continue to get upset. They'll continue to get upset. They'll continue to do what they can to try to salvage the game. They will try everything they can to save the game. And I'm saying that as if we actually know that, like, I'm going to be honest. You want my honest thoughts? I think Sony shuts down Bungie but keeps Marathon. Because there's, like, imagine you just shut down a $400 million game, and then now you've told your investors the company you purchased has failed you multiple times, and then you shut down another game. That would look bad. Now, I do think they let it ride and milk what they can out of it, and they shut down Bungie, and then they have like some other company take over, or keep it running in the background. But honestly, I would see the game stay online. Maybe that's me being nicely coping for someone else. I don't know how you, like, can you cope for other people? Like, I'm gonna cope for you. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I could see them shutting down Bungie because they would save them a shit ton of money while making some money off of Marathon. I could see that happening. Again, maybe that's just me being nice and coping for them. I don't know. For the average, I got you, bros. I got you. The the average Joes out there, they're like, hey, I just want to enjoy a game. I got you. I'm coping for you, brother. Sister, I got you. I got you. You're out there and trying to enjoy a marathon and mind your own business. I got you. I'll cope for you. I'm so deeply sad to see Marathon underperforming. I beg that Bungie does not choose to double down on this game. Oh, they do choose to double down on this game, as it's truly a bold and new approach to the strategy shooter genre that serves as a complementary contrast to the more co-op style of ARC creators, even though Tarkov exists as the hardcore strategy shooter, but okay. Nearly 4x the people on PC supporting a Sony game that Sony's own player base is insane work. It is pretty fucking bad. And Sony wants to stop putting games on PC because they're threatened by Project Helix. You see exactly how that'll work out for them. Yeah. 70% off copies on Steam. The Verge. Smash GT will read, it didn't make the splash Sony expected and change it to the game was woke flop. I mean, if it's not making a splash and it's making a little bubble, I mean, technically, you're right. It's not a flop because if it's not making a splash, it's not making a flop. It's making like a little. 125 million PlayStations supposedly out there, and Marathon only moved 207. That's it. The so-called dominant platform couldn't even crack. I don't. Yeah, whatever. I'm not getting to the PlayStation hating bandwagon. It's gonna sell more than Alan Wake 2 to the dismay of the Spectre. I don't know. I guess that's a joke. Sincerely doubt these numbers. I sincerely doubt these numbers. Like, I'm going to believe an actual analyst whose job is to analyze this shit. But if they are in any way true, somebody at Sony needs to be fired. Somebody at Sony. Right. Not Bungie, Sony. There's no reason why a Sony first-party studio is making a game that sells 70% of its units on PC. Bungie should be making games that PlayStation user wants. So, fun fact, Bungie was already working on Marathon when Sony acquired them. So it's not even Sony's fault. This is 100% Bungie's fault. Just so we're all clear, you can't blame PlayStation for this. And you can blame them for allowing it to continue, but you can 100% just blame, Bungie for it. It seems to have a solid community, but yes, wider gaming community is sleeping on it. Are they sleeping on it, or have they just looked at it and said, no, I'm good? Like, I hate this. Again, one of the biggest fallacies in the coping mechanisms is people are sleeping on it. No, people aren't sleeping on it. They have looked at it. They've played the open beta. They just don't care. They just don't care. Like, what more? People have seen everything the game has to offer now with Cryo Archive. No one's sleeping on it. Trust me, not a damn person sleeping on it. Not everyone is a hive mind that can't stop to think for themselves. Now, there are hive minds out there, especially in politics, but this is not one of those situations. Anyways, I find it really funny that you're going to see more crash outs. And honestly, I expect someone's going to start putting fries in the bag. It's going to happen. I expect people at Bungie, I guarantee it will happen. You're going to see people put fries in the bag. And listen, I hope it's the leaders first. Truthfully. Like, I'm sure there's an innocent, developers that had no choice, especially the ones that didn't want to make Marathon in the first place. They should not lose their job. They should be absorbed by Sony. That's my personal opinion. But the people that continue to hype this shit up and continue to try to, push it and ignore what the players want, the people that chose to abandon Destiny, the people that make all the shitty decisions, it's time to put the fries in the fucking bag, bitch. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and I'll see you in the next